Hey everybody, this is Pastor Barry from Spout Springs Church, and I'm coming to you today with some thoughts on personal development. I'm continuing a series on forgiveness, and this is a very crucial topic, especially when we look at the time that we are living in right now. And I want to talk about specifically your right to be angry. And what happens is I will bring up this subject, and a lot of people will come to me afterwards, after the Bible study, after the sermon, what have you, and say, but don't I deserve to be angry? And that's a very complicated question, but part of that is yes, you do deserve to be angry. I think that depending on what the injustice is, we have a right, and we can't help but be angry. We can't help but be furious about some of the things that take place. And so, yes, you do deserve to be angry. In fact, I think that there are a lot of injustices that exist in the world because Christians don't get angry enough. What we need to do with that anger, though, is make sure that it is funneled in the right direction. And we need to make sure that that anger isn't an excuse to hold on to unforgiveness. We're going to talk a little bit next week about what we should do, but I want to talk today about how very often, because we're so angry, we think that we should not forgive that person. In fact, depending on the size of the injustice, people will see forgiveness itself as being immoral. There was a woman whose 19-year-old daughter had died at the hands of another person, and as she discussed in a blog her forgiveness of that person, she said that now people actually despised her because of her forgiveness. And we see it as immoral. We see it as immoral to forgive someone for what they have done if they've done something large enough or huge enough or devastating enough or tragic enough. And so one of the things that I want to talk to you about is that, first of all, we need to realize that forgiveness should be a lifestyle. It isn't something that we dole out in units. If we are to be people who forgive, and that's what God calls us to be, if we're going to forgive those that have wronged us, just as God forgives us, that means that it's a lifestyle. We don't dole it out in units. We don't say, well, this person, they did this, but it wasn't that big, so I'm going to let it go. And this person, they did this bigger thing, but they asked me to forgive them, so I'll let that go. But this person, they did this, and I never really liked them anyway, so them I'm not going to forgive. There's no system. We either live a lifestyle of forgiveness or we don't. And that's really hard to do. And so what we need to keep in mind is that if we're going to live a lifestyle of forgiveness, this really is a step of faith. It's a huge step of faith that we are going to take on that lifestyle. And because it is a step of faith, that means that it involves several things. First of all, as I mentioned last time, it is a process. Growing in our faith is a process. There's no magic switch where we can just flip it on and all of a sudden have faith. And so it is a process, and living a lifestyle of forgiveness is a process. It's a step of faith because basically we are taking a step of faith in the fact that God knows what he's talking about, and number two, that he really does have our best interest at heart. When we live a lifestyle of forgiveness, it's because God knows what is best and because it really is good for us to live that lifestyle. And the last thing that we should realize is that because it's a step of faith, that means that that faith is going to be shaken. There are things that are going to come into your life that is going to make forgiveness very difficult. And as I talk to people and learn about their situations and what they have come across and what has been done to them, it's never a simple thing. It's never a very straightforward thing. There's a giant ball of emotions that comes with it. There's a giant need to figure it out and work your way through it. And so these are not simple situations. And so your faith in this will be shaken. But because God has forgiven us, he knows that what is best for us is to live that quality of his forgiveness in our lives and to forgive as well. That's just something to think about. And I know that for those of you watching it right now, you're thinking, yeah, but you don't know about this. No, I don't. Some of you watching this video right now have been through horrible things at the hands of other people, and I do not deny that. I do not make light of that. I am saying that this is something to be considered. And really because, like I said, God knows what he's talking about, and it really is, when we forgive, it really is in our best interest. Next week, we're going to talk about something that is wildly misunderstood, the concept of forgiving and forgetting. And so I look forward to talking to you about that. And guys, thank you so much. God bless.